When you start making things, you will often hear people wax lyrical about the things that you absolutely need to have in your workshop. I'm not going to do that in this video. Instead, I'm going to show you 5 tools that I think you absolutely shouldn't buy, at least not to begin with. Spoiler alert, it's cheap tools. First on the list is this pocket hole jig. Now this one cost me around £10 a few years ago, and since then I've used it successfully exactly 0 times. There just isn't enough surface area to clamp this properly to your workpiece. There's a lot of play in the guides, and the holes are so close together that unless you're working with tiny boards, you're going to have to move this a lot. I had this one in a drawer and just avoided pocket holes until I got this, the trend kit. I mounted mine to a bench hook so I can use it on any bench that I've got here. It has the clamp built in, which is adjustable. The distance between the 2 holes is also adjustable. I think it goes up to about 70 millimeters or about 3 inches, somewhere around there. And there's a lot less play in the guide, so the holes that you do drill are nicer and cleaner than with this thing. It's well worth it to spend a little bit more money on this if you're going to do pocket hole joinery. And then there's a number of hand saws that I have. Now this may be a contentious point as they are only £5 or £8 each, but almost everything I've used one of these for, I could have used a circular saw or a jigsaw and got the same result in half the time and with half the effort. These 2 tools are also useful for other things like cutting sheet goods with a circular saw or cutting curves with a jigsaw. If you do want hand saws, I would recommend that you get a set of Japanese pull saws, or at least one Japanese pull saw. The smaller ones are a lot more flexible and can do flush cuts easier, and the larger ones generally have 2 sets of teeth. One side has fewer teeth for rip cutting, and the other side has more teeth for cross cutting. They work under tension the whole time, so they won't buckle like a normal hand saw, and if you do get these ones, you can just replace the blades on them. Now, I don't know about you, but I certainly don't need a 7 TPI, 8 TPI, 10 TPI, 11 TPI saw. Just get yourself a circular saw or a Japanese pull saw and you won't regret it. When I got my first set of chisels, they came with an oil stone. This didn't have the grits listed on the stone or on the packet, and that's no good. Throw this away, but certainly don't replace it with other cheap oil stones, and don't replace it either with the Scary Sharp system. Now, Scary Sharp is good, it gets things scary sharp, it's in the name, but it's expensive. The sample pack is around £13, I think, or it was when I got it, but the downside is you have to replace this often. This wears out quite quickly. Also, don't replace them with cheap diamond plates like these from eBay. I haven't used these ones in a long time. Another potentially contentious entry is a belt sander. I bought this one about 10 years ago because it was on offer and I wanted to remove 40 years worth of paint from architraves and door frames in my house, thinking that with the dust extractor here attached to a vacuum, I would avoid all the mess, or that it would be less messy than using chemicals or a scraper. I wasn't wrong, but I was mistaken. Unless you're building extremely large furniture that you need to get incredibly flat and take a lot off, this is not for you. And even if you are building large furniture, you may find that a random orbital sander is better for you. Last on the list, and waiting patiently for its turn to shine, is this multi-tool set. Now this one was £40 about 15 years ago. It comes with a handsaw, a drill driver, some bits, a socket set, and a bunch of other tools over here, which is a lot of stuff for £40. But I'm sure you can see where this is going. The drill driver struggled on anything more dense than a bubble bath. The hole saws couldn't cut cheese. The socket set is missing the only socket I ever used, the 10mm one, and that's because it snapped. It looks like a lot, but it's a lot of nothing. We've already covered hand saws, but get yourself a better drill driver and you will not regret it. This one spent 14 of the last 15 years in my loft until I got my workshop and is now probably going to end up in the bin. Let me know in the comments down below what you would add to this list and let's get a discussion going. If you want more ideas on how to save time or keep yourself sane, check out this video right here, which will give you 5 things you need in your workshop. And until the next one, take care.